I have given a lot of hugs so far today, from the book launch yesterday, today, and I love that someone just came up to me before and said, Clint, I haven't had my hug yet. It's a day and a half, I haven't had a hug. You can have as many hugs as you like over our 3 days together. Did we love Mike?
Yes.
Hillary just came up to me and said, I hate you. And I said, but you love me. She's like, yes. It's incredible. Who's an Inner Circle member in the room? Can you raise your hand for a second? I've got a bit of a surprise for you. So, not a cruise. Not a cruise. Something better than a cruise. Yeah, Mike is actually joining us for 90 minutes at our retreat next week, and he is going to go really deep into the identity piece. How do you become that millionaire? How do you move into that mind growth piece? So we get 90 minutes with him next week at our retreat. How awesome is that? Okay, so let's move on to our next piece, and I am shifting the gears because we're going to start talking about student attraction, the marketing piece. What did we talk about yesterday? We talked about enrollment, right? The 11-step enrollment process. How do we get students through that process so they become a student at our studio? Now we got to talk about, well, how do they find out about us? Isn't it hard now for us to stand out amongst all the other studios in the area? Remember yesterday I was talking about fun, creative, have a good time, dance to music. Yeah, that's what everyone's doing. So how do we really showcase ourselves? How do we build a brand that stands out from what everyone else is doing? I had a great question yesterday over here around standing out, and I talked about the importance of building a brand now. People will come to you because of that brand that you build. And so when it comes to student attraction, that is what we were going to be diving into. Does anyone want new students this season? Anyone? Anyone want new students this season? Yes, great. That is the right answer. You are in the right room if you do. Answer this question. Who has a student attraction system inside of their business? Now, what do I mean by student attraction system? We talked about this yesterday. Evergreen enrollments. Students inquiring every single day into your studio. Who's a yes? Hands up. Look around. Not many hands. Good news, let's change it today. Do you want to change it? Yes. Let's get this system in place. Because what happens if you don't have a system is you can anyone ever look like this poor woman in front of the computer screen before? Because like I said, gone are the days of the yellow pages. Oh, I wish they were back where we just put in one ad, do a couple of flyers and you're done. Not anymore, friends. Times have changed. And so what we have now is confusion. We're confused around, well, should we be snapping, tweeting, Instagramming, flyers? Do they still work? Do newspaper ads still work? No. What works? What works? And not only what works, but what order do we do it? Because not only do you have to figure out the distribution channel, you need to figure out what order to do what. It's like when you go into the safe in the hotel. Right? If you just punch in a whole bunch of different numbers, the safe isn't going to open. You got to know the combination. And that's the same thing with your marketing and your student attraction system. Like I said, so many options. And what happens when we have too many options? Overwhelm and maybe feel paralyzed. Where we're like, oh, I'll leave that. Has anyone done that before? I'll leave that today. I'll leave that Facebook ad campaign. I'll leave that marketing campaign. I'm going to go and do a lesson plan for a class instead. I'm going to clean my desk for the 500th time this week. Oh, I know that's you. I need a new notebook. I'm going to go to Staples and buy some new stationery. That's a good use of my time. But what happens when we don't have a student attraction system is we don't get enough new students. And unfortunately, this can be our studio. right? This can be the room. We've all walked into a room like this. We've all been praying and hoping that someone is going to turn up today. Please don't let my class be empty. I used to do it. When I started my studio, I'm like, please be more than 2 people. Please be more than 2 people. And then we got 3 and I was like, please be more than 3 people. But we do. Sometimes we don't know if our classes are going to have anyone in them or if they're going to be full. And then in your mind, you're thinking, well, I'm paying the teacher all this money and I've only got 2 kids. Does anyone do the math in their head? And you're like, hang on a second, I'm losing money on that class. And we don't want that to happen. So we want to get it right and say goodbye to a word that you all said before, overwhelm. It's so overwhelming. So we want to say goodbye to that and get rid of it. And I want you to have new students every single week. And there's no reason why you can't. But Clint, it's a really bad time of year. No, it's not. What did I say yesterday about how often we should be bringing in new students? Every day, all the time. We're not stopping because the pyramid, remember, is going to get out in our formation. We're not stopping because we can't get that costume in time. What was my solution around that? Give them a rose. Jump on. They can bring the rose on stage. Put them in a t-shirt. It says, I love dancing. And that was their dancing. That was their dancing. So really, really think about that. Every single day. How different would your studio be if you enrolled students every single day? How different would your life be if you enrolled students every single day? What are we going to talk about in this session? Your irresistible offer. How are you bringing people in? Because you don't want to just say, hey, come and learn how to dance. It's fun. How are you doing that? How are you communicating it? What's the look and feel? How do you create a standout brand? How do you get seen everywhere? It's such a compliment when we get an email saying, stop following me on Google. Your head is following me on Google. I love that feedback because it means we're doing our job. And that's the job that you need to be doing as well. You need to be seen everywhere. Really important. And dominate a couple of core distribution channels, and we'll talk about that today. And how to get students to turn up and enroll them. We're going to go a little bit deeper today, and we touched on this a little bit yesterday. So you have happy kids like this. Don't look at their feet. Okay, we need to get clear on who we serve. This was a big theme of yesterday. Everyone on stage, everyone who spoke, talked about the importance of having a clearly defined target market. Every marketing student attraction campaign that you deploy in your business needs to be focused on somebody, a particular person that you want to bring in to your studio. When it doesn't work is when you speak to everyone. Well, you think you're speaking to everyone, but you're really speaking to no one. And we want to change that. I want to make sure that your message is clear and specific. So every marketing campaign that you run has this formula. If you want preschoolers, that's a separate campaign. If you want children that are 6 to 8, that's a separate campaign. 9 to 10s, 11s to 12s. And if you're using imagery of your children, of your students, in your artwork, in your promotions, which you should be using, no stock photos, please. If you're using those images, it should tie into the message and to the audience. I've seen people do broad ads. Come to our dance studio, and they've got a photo of a 2-year-old. And I'm like, okay, you want preschools? No, our 6 and 8-year-old class is really struggling. And I'm like, you're not going to get 6 and 8-year-olds from an ad that is talking to everyone but no one and using a photo of a 2-year-old. So we need to be really specific. This is a big takeaway for you in how you want to execute your marketing plans. So first up here, we got age. Got to decide how old is the person you want to target in your marketing plan. Think for a second right now, what is a class that you would love to fill? What is a class you would love to fill? Turn to your neighbor. Tell them, what is a class that you would love to fill? One class. Okay, so I've given you a couple of examples here. 3 to 5 year old preschool ballet, and maybe a 6 to 8 year old recreational jazz tap ballet. Maybe it's a combo class. Whatever is the one you want to focus on, I want you to have clarity on one target market. Don't get caught up in, oh, but everyone can do this. No, we're just coming back to the one market that you serve. We good on that? Yes. Okay. I then want you to list out, in that target market, list out the ideal qualities of that student. What are the ideal qualities of that particular student? You know a really easy way to do this exercise? Think of the student that you love the most. Come on, we all have favorites. That we love the most, that is our ideal customer. Let's say it's Jenny, and then write down all the qualities of Jenny. What are the qualities that Jenny has? Yeah, so if you're looking at a 6 to 8 year old, right? Not very old, but a 6 to 8 year old, what are the types of qualities that a 6 to 8 year old has? That's a question. Sorry? I thought someone said money. I was like, oh, I don't know if the 6 to 8 year old has money. Happy. They're happy. Are they bubbly? Are they joyous? Do they bounce into class? What else? Listening, I heard. What else? Learn. Want to learn. Was there another one? Independent. Support. We'll get to the parent piece in a second. Sorry? Kind. Respectful. Totally. I love all of this. Can you see how you're starting to we're going from out here and we're slowly starting to come in? Because would you think, now knowing just those couple of words, would you write and add a piece of ad copy or an offer? Would it sound and feel different now that you've just got a little bit of clarity on who the student is? Yes, because you can use these words in your copy. So you're laser focused on the person that you want to bring into the studio. Teachers, people leave this one off. It's really important when you're developing a marketing plan that we dive into the qualities of the teachers that are teaching these classes. So think about a teacher that teaches the specific age group that you're targeting in this marketing plan that you're going to execute. What are their qualities? What are their qualities? Yell out some qualities that these teachers have. Patience, bubbly, warm,
Compassionate.
smiley, prepared, encouraging, passion, no drama, experience, all of these things. All of these things. I hope you're writing down a very long list, because this is what creates our marketing copy, the words that we put into our offers, in our Facebook ads, on our website. This brainstorming exercise that we're doing right now helps you to not sound like everyone else. Because I can tell you, everyone who is not in this room is not doing this exercise. They're just doing fun, creative, lick the mirrors. They're just doing the normal things. The normal things that everyone does. Lastly, the parents. Think of that parent that you would actually be a friend with. Think of that parent that you're like, I could spend a weekend away with them. You're like, whoa, okay. Now we're getting to the good stuff. Think about the parent that you would invite over to your house for dinner. What qualities do they have? And Patty said before, supportive of their child. So I think that's a great one. You want them to be supportive. What else? Okay, we've all got a lot of answers for this one. Over here.
Pay on time.
Pay on time. Isn't that really important? Yeah. What else? Trustworthy. Yeah. Trustworthy of you as the leader, as the person that is in charge to really transform their child's life and to not second guess your decisions. Don't we love this parent already? What else have we got over here? Understanding. They thank us.
Friendly to other parents.
Friendly to other parents.
Respectful to the teachers. Parents that have grandparents. The mom, the grandmom is involved. They're
Yeah, let's get the grandma involved. We love them. Yes, Jody.
Shared values to your studio.
Yes, shared values. One more.
Responsible. Their kid responsible from a distance, not being a dancer.
Yeah, hold the kid responsible without being like that clingy dance mum. So guys, I want you to write down this list. So you should now have 4 columns of words. Age, students, teachers, and parents. This forms the foundation of everything to do with your marketing plan. And the biggest reason people make mistakes and don't enroll the students they need in their studio is because they skip this step. They think their marketing plan is clicking a button on Facebook and doing boost $10. That is not a marketing plan. They think a marketing plan is printing a flyer with a pretty dancer that tells everyone about your amazing sprung floors, your amazing AC, which we talked about yesterday, and your beautiful foyer or waiting room. They don't care. That's not a marketing plan. That's just a waste of money. And we don't want that. This is where you start. This is your foundation. So once we have that set, we've got to come up with an offer. Right, and when I say offer, people often think that it means free. An offer does not have to be free. So when I mention a free trial class, you can do a paid trial class. I know a lot of people in the room that don't do free trials, and they have great success with paid trials. Totally okay. I know people that do one of my favorites, a 7-day unlimited class pass. I love that offer. The reason I love that offer is because it allows you to get the child trying multiple classes across multiple days. Because here's the truth. When we bring a student into our studio and we're doing a free trial, that only gives them one opportunity for all the stars to be aligned on that afternoon, the kid to be in a good mood, the parent to be in a good mood, the foyer to be nice and tidy and clean, the teacher to be great. Everyone's in a good mood. Everyone's ready to perform. There's a lot of odds there. A lot of things could kind of go wrong. And so what I love about a 7-day or a 5-day unlimited class pass is that you can actually bring them on board for multiple classes during the week, giving them more of an opportunity to buy into your studio and to experience what you're all about. It's very hard to get a really good understanding in one 30, 45-minute or 60-minute class, right? Really, really important. So let's have a look at some offers. Free trial class. I just said that. Come and try a class on us is great wording. Your first class is on us. As a gift from us, we'll give you your first class. What I am not saying is the word free. I'm telling you free trial because we understand. But would I put free trial in ad copy? Maybe to test it, but probably not. Because as soon as we say free trial as consumers, what do we think? Cheap, devalued, you're going to sell me a whole bunch of stuff. Right? And so watch your wording, position it. So if I say, hey, here's a gift from me, versus here's a free book. The free book doesn't have the value that, hey, here's a gift from me. Please take a copy of my book. Same with your classes. Exactly the same with your classes. Unlimited class pass, we talked about. I love it. Get them in, trying lots of classes. It also gives you the opportunity for them to enroll in then multiple classes. So they're not just enrolling in one class, they're enrolling in 2, then maybe 3, then maybe 4 classes. That's what we want with that. And a paid trial variation. So paid trial is where you might do, sure, come along, test out the class. It'll cost you $10 for the first class. Or you can do 2 weeks for $15, 2 weeks for $10, 2 classes for $2. Any version of that is good to test. A word I've said a couple of times now is test, because that's what you need to do. Is there one formula that you can just plug in that's going to work every single time? No. You'll get some winning offers that convert really, really well that you can keep investing in and doubling down on, but you will need to change your ad copy. You'll need to change your imagery. You'll need to change your audiences. We have the amazing Tracy Morgan from our team. She's our Facebook ads coach inside of the Inner Circle. She's running a session this afternoon and she's going to tell you more about the Facebook ad platform. So I'm really excited for that. But she also will tell you it's about testing and tweaking. And as you go along, you might get a winning ad. Has anyone had this, like a winning ad, and then you're like, it's not working anymore? Yeah. Or it's costing me way too much money now. Because you need that continuous do it, iterate it, tweak it, do it, iterate it, tweak it. You need to be on that process, right? Really, really important. So select an offer right now. We're building out this marketing plan. If you haven't guessed, we're building it together in the room. You've got your audience. Yes. Do you have the person you want to target?
Yes.
Yes. Fantastic. Pick an offer. Which offer are you going to do? And guys, you might have something different. You don't have to pick out of these three. There's like 10 different things you could do. So pick an offer that works for you. Turn to your neighbor, commit to the offer, tell them what offer are you going to do. Go. So you've got your audience, you've got your offer, you've picked your offer, you've picked your target market, so make sure that's really clear. Circle it. Circle the offer that you're going to select for your marketing campaign. Now we need to look at your brand. Now we need to look at your brand. Who wants to find their fever? Woo! Woo! Don't we all want to find our fever? We are going to do it right now. As I've mentioned multiple times, the problem with studio owners and studios that are not attracting enough students into their studio is not because you have a bad product. You have an amazing product that I know you care about so much. The problem is you don't know how to communicate what you do and the impact you make. That's the problem. You don't know how to communicate what you do or the impact you make. So what does that mean? The parent doesn't know what you're doing inside the classroom. They're just online. They're just checking out Facebook ads. They're checking out Instagram. And what they see there, they make a story up in their mind about what it is you do, what you stand for, and who you are. We want to control that story as much as we can. So when we're advertising to our new audience that we've just built with the new offer that you've just committed to and decided, we need to come up with some benefits of the class that you are trying to market for the age group, right? So have a think right now. What are some benefits? Look at the age group you've decided. Look at the class. What are some benefits to the customer for coming to your studio? What are they going to get out of it? What is the child going to get out of the experience? And I've got a couple of examples. Get off screens. Get your kid off the screen and away from the chocolate. Bring them into the dance studio. Right, who's a parent in the room and would love their child to spend less time on a screen? Anyone? Who's an adult and wish they could spend less time on a screen? Both hands up. Both hands up. Boosts emotional maturity. It does. Facilitates self-expression. And see how some of the words I'm using here are not things that you would generally see, because we want the customer, the potential customer, to stop and pay attention. If they're seeing the same words and the same image, the same stock image of the girl with the pink tutu going through, they're just going to keep on scrolling. We have to have a pattern interrupt. You would know when you're scrolling, like anyone do this, like on their phone, and then you stop, something catches your eye. We need to have a pattern interrupt. And a pattern interrupt can come with imagery. A pattern interrupt can come with the copy and the language that you use. Diminishes depression. We are unfortunately in a place in time where depression is a really, big problem, a huge problem. What fixes it without going to medication? Well, you guys do it every day. Dance, move, socialize, be yourself, have fun, find joy. All of these things you get through dance, and that actually diminishes depression. And this is a real concern. We have parents in our group. I hear it from them. It's a real concern for parents at the moment. So I would be talking about that. Improve self-esteem. Unfortunately, this too is taking a dive. Social media is a double-edged sword, isn't it? Don't we like go on there and go, I don't look like that. Oh, look at that. That's Photoshop. That's totally Photoshopped. What filter are they using on that photo? But imagine, that's us as adults who have had experience in dealing with these things and it still affects us. Imagine being a teenager or a young kid, kids as young as like 8, on phones, wanting likes. I mean, get them out of that and get them into the classroom and let's build their self-esteem, because that is just crushing their self-esteem. Comparing themselves to what they see online. Let's get them in a room and talking to people and connecting and moving their bodies. You can talk about that. Promotes creativity. I know I joke about the word creativity, but it's still a really powerful one. But when you come at it from just creativity to it promotes creativity and you build a story around that, that's powerful. Kim's beautiful story yesterday afternoon was so powerful, and I know it affected all of us that was in the room. But she told us a story. And what I know is that you all have those stories, don't you? You have so many of those stories, but are you telling them? Are you telling them in your marketing? Probably not. That's how you stand out. How do you stand out? You be you. You be you and share the stories that are happening inside of your studio every single day. I'm sure right now, and I've just given you my 6, there's like gazillions of these, right? And hopefully you've written down some of your own. But I bet that you could think of a child or an experience that has happened in your studio that connects with at least every single one of these things. You probably have the story of the child that was suffering from depression and came to your studio. You probably have a story of a child that came to you that developed more self-esteem because of being at your studio. And you're like, I have these stories. Are you telling them though? That's a question. Are you telling the stories? No. We want to tell them to our amazing community. We want to put these out there. We don't want to be doing marketing. Marketing just sounds sexy, right? Marketing. What I'm smuggling in here is I want you to tell stories of the amazing work that you're doing. Because you know what? That brings in students. When you have an amazing story to tell and you put some money behind it with your paid ad campaigns, that's when you'll have a completely full studio. But if you are sounding like everyone else with the same photos, telling the same things, you're going to get the same results as everyone else. So stories are really powerful. Is this making sense?
Yes.
I feel like you're in like deep thought at the moment. Okay, your impact elixir. As I said before, you need to have pattern interrupts. You need to get people's attention when they're scrolling crazily or they're looking at their Facebook feed or Instagram or their email as well. We can do email marketing. How do we get their attention? We get their attention through headlines. Headlines are crucial. People spend so much time coming up with artwork and they spend, a third of the time or even less of the time, an eighth of the time on the copy, the words that accompany the artwork. The words mean everything. So you need to come up with some good headlines to go with your marketing campaign that you are building right now. What have we done so far? The first thing we identified was our target market. I don't know if anyone said that, but I'm going to say it anyway. Target market. The second thing we came up with was our offer. Yes, offer. Great. The next thing we came up with was our benefits. Great. Next, we need to come up with our headline. What are the headlines that we're going to use? I got a couple of headlines. 7 days to a more social child. 7 days. What can you offer if you do that? I don't know, maybe a 7-day unlimited class pass. Kind of is in line. How to diminish depression this winter. If you're in winter, if you're in Canada, that's all the time. No, I'm joking. Basically is, hey. This is a really good one because I know living in New York during winter, it's not overly joyous. I can't go out and walk along the river, which is my favorite thing to do during the summer. And so kids face the same problem, right? They're even more attached to their screen because everyone's like, oh, it's too cold to go outside. You can have another 10 hours on the iPad. Get them into a dance class. Get them into a dance class. Number one way to get back your child's confidence. Parents in the room, would we like our children to be more confident? Yeah. What a gift that would be. Kid couch potato, ? Try this. We got any kid couch potatoes? Anyone have kids that love lying on the couch in the room? Yeah, parents, you can probably identify with this. You want to get them off the couch and getting active. Free dance class, claim it now. What did I say before? I don't use the word free, but I do test it. I do test it. And in a headline, this can catch them. So what you can do is have the headline and then you can tell the story. The issue is people go free dance class and their copy is come in for a free dance class. Instead of let me tell you a story about Susie. That's compelling. So you get them in with the headline, then you get them into the story. And that's what we want to be able to do. Dance cures low self-esteem. Try it today. I want to really encourage you to come up with your own. You can use these. Keep in mind, though, that everyone using the same headlines. We've done this before where I've taught something and then I see it everywhere, which is great, but it's going to lose its effectiveness. So please take these if it's going to serve you, but this is more for brainstorming for you. Guys, you should do your marketing with your team. Your teachers are going to be incredible assets to share this stuff with and to do it with them. You could do this exercise with them. It would be so awesome. And they're really talented. Your teachers and your faculty will know about marketing. We are much more a marketing generation than we ever have been before because people are on social and they're utilizing it and they're going to have so many good ideas for you. So I would make this a brainstorming session with your team. I talked about your brand. Now, your brand is not just your logo and the colors that you use. Okay, that's kind of like the end piece of the brand. What you need to focus on first, and we're going to be talking about this tomorrow, are your core values. You need to know your core values inside out, back to front, before you do any marketing. Because a lot of your marketing will come from those core values. But when we talk about the sexy stuff is the logo, the colors, the look, the feel, the imagery. You have to have something consistent. A big mistake I see is someone's using green one day, orange the next, pink and purple. And you'll notice that we use a lot of colors, but it's all in the same brand Bible, right? We have a brand Bible for DSOA. We have a brand Bible for the inner circle. Two things of how we serve the market, how we serve you guys as studio owners. Both have very different looks and feels, well, kind of similar, but they're still different. But we keep within the lanes, and you need to do that in your brand as well. And if we had more time, we'd talk about branded classes, which are one of my favorite things to talk about, because I believe that all your classes should be branded. You know, when I had my dance studio, we had Funky Friends, was our little kids. We had Groovy Groovers. We had Moving Monkeys. And I'm not proud of this one, but we had Sizzling Shakers. Yeah, I don't know. We just kind of couldn't come up with anything else. But what the kids loved is that they loved moving up to that next group. So instead of, oh my goodness, I'm joining level 2 jazz, that's not very exciting. Would you agree? Yeah. But like, Mom, I get to move up. I'm going to Moving Monkeys. Like, that was fun. And each of them had a color, right? So branding your classes, slightly off topic, but definitely on topic for what we're talking about, is really, really important as well. And that ties into this bigger brand picture. So look at your colors. Look at your colors that you're using. Look at your fonts. Look at your imagery. Look at the videos that you're using. Is there unity? Can someone look at a piece of artwork you've done, or look at your website or your emails or anything that is going out into the world? Do they know that that's you? Or do you kind of like blend in with everyone else? Super important. Let's keep moving forward. So be seen everywhere. Where can you market? There's like, can you believe there's over 100 places you can market now? Over 100. Over 100. But let's look at 12. Facebook ads. The amazing Tracy is going to be chatting with us about this afternoon. Instagram ads. Also, direct mail can work when you are specific. AdWords, so retargeting on Google. Strategic partners, working with local businesses. Lead boxes, shopping malls, community events, database marketing, emailing out your database, not just your students, but the database that you've built of everybody. Networking, posters, local PR. These are just 12 places. There's over 100. I'm giving you the top kind of places. Because it's important that you are also diversifying your distribution channels. Now, for the marketing plan that you're building, do we do all 12 things? No. Yes. Good. How many do we do? How many do you think that we should do?
3.
Yes. We do 3. So out of this list, I want you to pick just 3. I'm giving you a 4th one. So what are you going to pick? I know you're all like, oh, you went too quick. I didn't write them all down. Just pick from the ones that you wrote down. Pick 4. Facebook ads. I've done Google and YouTube retargeting. Strategic partners. Shopping mall. I am not against the shopping mall. I actually really love for studio owners to get into the community and have a presence. Now, this may come out of, if you've got a marketing budget, right? This is your student acquisition budget. Part of that budget should go to brand. Very different from attracting students. You will get students from building brand. You will definitely get students from building your brand, but it's not as concrete as, let's say, a paid Facebook ad campaign. You going to a shopping mall is definitely about acquisition, but it's also about brand because you want to be known in your local community. Guys, if you just did online marketing, you could build a business. I don't know how sustainable it would be and for how long. It's important that you get in and amongst your community for brand building, for credibility, for likability, for trust. Get into the community. I love it. And you're not going to get a return on investment right away on that. That's okay though. It's definitely going to pay off. So you've got to have brand and acquisition marketing going on inside of your studio. So I hope you picked 4 right now, 3 or 4. Turn to your neighbor. Let them know what 3 or 4 distribution channels have you selected. Go. Okay, so we now have our distribution channels. We've got our 3 or 4 distribution channels. Now what do we need to do to execute this marketing plan? What do we need to do? We need to create a project plan. Here is another big mistake, is that the steps of the marketing plan are not clearly laid out in something like Asana or Trello, which we talked about yesterday. Project management system, they're not clearly laid out. So you will skip steps and you will not do stuff, and then you'll do stuff, and then you'll be like, we forgot to do that, or I didn't check that. You need to build one core marketing plan, project plan. It can have anywhere from like 100 to 350 steps in it because you are doing every single step. The good news about a marketing plan is that you click that great button that I love called duplicate. And then you have a new marketing plan. So you just need to do it once. It takes a lot of work. And you need to get it right. Like I said before, the numbers in the right order in the keypad, you need to get it in the right order, but you need to have a project plan to be able to execute on that marketing plan to give you the best result possible. Because that's what we're after. Marketing is all about testing, but we want to give ourselves the best opportunity. If we don't have a plan, we're kind of only going to get so far. And sometimes we get lucky as well. We don't want to rely on luck. Can we all agree on that? Yes. To build a successful business, a successful studio, let's not rely on luck. Let's do the work. Let's put the processes and systems in place. So to create a marketing plan, we've got to come up with a couple of core things. Firstly, you need to look at the dates of your campaign. What are the dates of the campaign that you are going to run? Sweet spot for me, 4 to 6 weeks. 6 is now a little long. Finding 4 is a lot better, right? Because if you go 6, it gets fatigued. If you are 4 weeks, it's kind of contained and it's a good amount of time to get results, but to also increase your visibility so people are seeing what you are actually doing and what you're about. B is for budget. Yes, you need to spend money, but you will get the return on that investment. Sometimes more return than others. But guys, you can jump on Facebook for $10 a day. Like, that's really cheap marketing. I don't know, but my ads in the newspaper were like $2,000 or $3,000. I don't know about you. And then you got an editorial if you spent more, and then the flyers. I mean, we are so lucky that we can test our marketing message, our offers, our audience for $10 a day. It is really, really smart to go down that route. Team. What team do you need to be able to execute this plan? You can create a great marketing plan, but if you don't have the resources, the people to actually do the work, then you're going to be in trouble. So you need to make sure you've got the right people on the team that can help you with it. And lastly, goals. We talked about this yesterday. What are the goals that you need to track? You need to track how many leads you bring in. You need to track the trials that come through, and you need to track how many enrollments you get. Okay, let's look a little bit at engagement as we go through this process, right? So how do we engage? And we touched on this slightly yesterday, but how do we engage currently with our customers? Well, a whole bunch of ways. Email. Who engages with email with their customers? Yes. What about SMS? Yes. Phone calls? Chatbot, Messenger on Facebook? Video, maybe using BombBomb or Loom or Bonjoro, something like that. Direct mail, maybe as well. It's still effective in some cases. So we have lots of ways we can communicate with our customers. And as I said, you need to make sure you are in all places, that you are able to take all of the places that they want to say to you, hey, I need help. You can help them in the place that they're asking. And so let's have a look at how this plays out from the marketing sense. So someone opts in for your offer. Let's say your offer is the 7-day unlimited class pass. So technically, how does this kind of work? So someone opts in, they put in their name, their email. I'll give you the 5 things that I like you to get. Name, a parent, email, student's name, student's age, cell phone number. They're the 5 pieces of information I want you to get. So if you're using something like Lead Pages or some type of opt-in software for you to get their details, 5 core pieces of information that you have to get. If you're only getting name and email, too hard. Too hard for you, not too hard for them. You'll get a lot of leads, but they're probably not going to be quality leads. You want to get them to do the 5. First name of the parent, email address, child's name, child's age, cell phone number, right? They're the 5 things that we want to get. So that's going to take them to a thank you page, right? Where they can take advantage of the offer. And the thank you page might be a video of you saying, hey, thank you so much for showing interest in our 7-day unlimited class pass. Complete your details below. We will email you the pass so we can get you scheduled in. Depending on what software you use, this is going to be different for everyone, right? If you want to do it manually to start with, you can just reach out to them, send them an SMS, give them a phone call because you've got those details and book them in for a class. I really love them getting a call within a couple of hours of actually filling in the form, right? Because right away they'll be like, oh, wow, you're a real person? You've like called me to talk to me. Some people don't answer. Leave a message, follow up with a text message and an email, right? The fortunes are in the follow. Yes. Send a confirmation email once you have booked in their class. We talked about this yesterday. Put them on a sequence building up to their trial classes that they're coming to. Text them beforehand and text them again 24 hours before. You can communicate with them as much as you like leading up to the trial. Completely up to you. I know some of you have had like the day in the life of a student at our studio. You've had videos made. I would send them that, right? I would send them content that is adding value, that is showing them what type of experience they can have at your studio. So when they turn up to your studio, they like kind of feel like they're already part of the gang. They're part of the crew. You want them to feel that way. Inside of your studio, what must you have? Know the student is coming in. Important. Have a welcome pack ready for them. Have the pre-class consult that we talked about yesterday and make sure you intro them to the teacher. I'm reaffirming the stuff that we talked about yesterday to make sure you got it because this is the important piece. If you do really well with your marketing plan and you don't get this, you're not going to be as successful as you could be. And guys, what we are looking for here is to maximize your full potential. We don't just want to go 50%. And if you're missing out the steps and you're missing out this part and you're missing out identifying the student you want to bring in, you're only getting halfway. You gotta do it all. So how do we turn our trials into students? What are the 3 core things? A powerhouse class. Your teachers have to walk in that door every single day and give the best performance of their life. I used to like sit in the car. I remember driving to class. I had the music up loud. I was like pretending I was Beyonce. I mean, I was like getting amped up to deliver my class of 35 people. I had to get excited and I had to perform. I like bounced in there and I had to perform. That's what I was getting paid for. To yes, teach, but I had to give these kids the best experience of their life. And I hope you're having those conversations with your teachers. And I hope that what Kim talked about yesterday has impacted you to go and have more conversations with your amazing teaching team. Buddy them up, we've talked about, give them some homework. Make an offer after class. You know that this is key by now. Do we know that this is key? Yes. Yes. And follow up. Follow up for that week plan that I gave you yesterday. And then if you feel really comfortable with that first week, I want to encourage you to do a second week of follow-up as well. Now, you may not be comfortable with 2 weeks at the beginning. You might not even be comfortable with 1 day of follow-up. That's okay. You'll get there. But keep making your follow-up process a little longer. Because do we all agree that life gets in the way and stuff happens and we forget about stuff? And we think they didn't like the class, they don't like us, they didn't like the teacher. They've totally forgotten about you. And it's tough. They're actually not even thinking about that dance class. Because Susie went to violin the day after and she went to swim class the day after. And so they're on to the next thing. They will appreciate and say thank you to you. I love it when people follow up so much with me because they're not my priority really at any point. If someone's trying to give me something or sell me something or enroll me in something, I'm probably not thinking about them. But when they have persistence and they follow up, I pay more attention. Are you the same? Yeah. And so I want you to think about that as you move forward. So what do you have now? You have a target market. Do you all know who you were targeting with your marketing campaign? Yes or yes? Yes. You all have an offer. Have you committed to one offer? Keyword, one offer. Don't get sneaky. I'm going to do two. No, you're not. You're going to do one. One offer, one target market. You've got your benefits that we built out as well. You've got the headline that we built out. You've got a whole bunch of headlines that you can use and also use as creativity to come up with your own headlines as well. We know where you're going to market. You came up with the direction, where you're going to go. We looked at the brand, how you're going to get the look and feel being consistent. We talked about your connection experience, how you're going to connect with these people, the different mediums of reaching out and communicating with these people. All of these things. And we talked about then getting them in the class, keeping them, and enrolling them. Can you see how this ties into what we did yesterday? Amazing, because that's what I want for you. I want to make sure that this is all making sense and building on. I want you to come up with your biggest takeaway from this session right now. What was the biggest aha moment for you? Go through your notes. What is your biggest aha moment? I go a little deeper. What is the thing that you are not doing that you know you need to be doing? What is the thing that you are not doing? Strategic partnerships. Yeah, what is the thing that you know you need to be doing that you are not doing? Turn to your partner. Turn to your partner and let them know. What is that one thing? Okay. All right, so have we all got that one thing that we're going to work on? Hands up if you've got that one thing you are going to work on. Please, hands up if you have that one thing you need to work on. Awesome. Hands up is a great way to get people quiet as well, by the way. You would know that as dance teachers and owners. So guys, this is your blueprint for your marketing campaign. We've talked about just in the growth section so far. You remember that top circle in growth, which is about attracting, we just did. Enrollment, we did yesterday. And retention, we are talking about tomorrow. Right? So that is going to be your growth pillar, a great place for you to start, a great foundation.